In engineering physics, we are discussing radioactivity. In the last session, we looked at some basics of radioactivity along with understanding of the natural radioactivity and the types of radioactive decay as alpha, beta, gamma. Now, in the current session, we shall focus on understanding something what is known as radioactive half-life. Now, the radioactive half-life for a given nuclei is nothing but the time for the half of the radioactive nuclei to undergo radioactive decay. That means nucleus should become half of its size. That means after two half-lives, there will be 1/4 of the originals left. So the radioactive half-life gives a pattern of reduction to half in any successive half-life period. For example, after three half-lives, 1/8 of the original sample is left, and so on. So the half-life of a radioactive substance is a measure of how quickly the radioactive decay takes place. For example, this shows exponential decay of radionuclides with time on x-axis and number of nuclei left on on y-axis. To understand this, for example, consider the decay process like this. Suppose at some initial time we start with, let us say N0. N0 is the number of radioactive nuclei. And the measure, when we want to measure the number at a later time t, let it be n. After some time, the number of nuclei is n. Originally, it is n0. We can find that this n behaves like this graph. Half-life, which is represented as t half of a substance, therefore can be defined as the time after which exactly 1/2 of the originally active nuclei remains. That means, in terms of this, the number of nuclei, what we call n here, remaining at time t gives what? It basically n0 at time t equal to 0. We can find that with the help of an equation. This equation. Before coming to this equation, let us look at this. At each half-life, the number of nuclei are decreasing. This is the number of nuclei left after the time interval. So that can be calculated using the equation n equal to n0 into 1/2 whole power small t by capital T half. This is the half-life period. This is the time at which we want to find the number of nuclei left, that is n. N0 is the initial number of nuclei. That means, for example, after a period of one half-life, half of the substance remains. After another half-life, another half, that is 1/2 into 1/2, that is 1/4 of a substance remains, and so on. So half-life of substances range from tiny fractions of a second to millions of years also. Now let us understand this process of disintegration or decay of radioactive nuclei in terms of decay and growth. Now what is this radioactive decay? Radioactive decay or disintegration is nothing but a statistical process. This statistical process, what is known as radioactive decay, depends on the instability of a particular radioisotope. But exact nucleus in any given sample is completely unpredictable. The decay process and the observed half-life dependence of radioactivity can be predicted by assuming that the individual nuclear decays are purely random events. For example, if there are n number of radioactive nuclei at some time t, then the number delta n we represented here, this would decay in any given time interval delta t, and it would be approximately proportional to n. So from that we can say delta n is equal to minus lambda n delta t. Here the lambda is what is known as constant of proportionality called decay constant. That is, if we assume at a time t the number of radioactive nuclei are n, the number of nuclei that would decay, let us say, is delta n. In a time interval of delta t, this decay is directly proportional to the number of radioactive substances or nuclei available here. Then the relation can be expressed as delta n is equal to minus lambda n delta t. Here the lambda, the constant of proportionality, is what is termed as decay constant. Now without any further assumptions, this expression leads to the exponential radioactivity decay result as n equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t. This is what we call as decay law. Down the line we will see how this equation can be arrived from this. This immediately leads to the exponential radioactive decay result. And also it implies that the decay rate and the amount of emitted radiation also follows the same relationship as given by this equation. This is the decay rate equation, similar to this one. So this is the initial one, this is the instantaneous one. Now here what we need to observe from this graph is, if you plot a graph between number of half-lives and number of atoms that are getting decayed, each decay, for example, for each decay, with each decay of a parent nuclei, the number of daughter nuclei increases. So this particular graph shows the decay and growth of these nuclei. So as the number of half-life increases, naturally the number of parent nuclei decreases. With the decrease of parent nuclei, there you can observe the increase of daughter nuclei from this. From this we can observe how to get this value, which is called decay law, which we shall try to understand now. When you look at decay law, even though radioactive decay involves discrete reactions of nuclear disintegration, the number of these reactions is so large that it can be treated like a continuum, and the methods of calculus can be employed to predict the behavior. Methods of calculus means differentiation and integration. Through that methods of calculus, we can predict the behavior. So the decay probability can be written in a differential form like this. This is the differential form of representation of decay probability. dn is equal to minus lambda n dt, or you can readjust it as dn by n equal to minus lambda by dt. So we can integrate this equation. By integrating, what we will get, log n equal to minus lambda t plus c. Here the equation shows a constant c. This is constant of integration. So to eliminate this, we need to take exponent on both sides. So by taking exponent on both sides, this gives n is equal to e power c minus e power minus lambda t, and therefore n is equal to at n equal to z, at t equal to 0 if you substitute. So n will become n equal to e power c. That is nothing but n0 at t equal to 0. So therefore the standard form of the decay equation will be n equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t. This also applies to all other quantities which are proportional to n. This is about decay law and decay constant. Let us understand radioactive decay rates. The decay of radioactive nuclei takes place spontaneously and without any predictable chance. The process is governed by the laws of probability. So let us consider that there are n number of radioactive nuclei present at a time t. Out of these, dn is number of atoms disintegrate into daughter nuclei at an interval of dt. That means at a point of time we are considering there are n number of radioactive nuclei available. So the time interval t we are taking. In that n, let us say this is the parental number. The number of nuclei disintegrating into daughter nuclei, or let us say dn, at a time interval of dt. Then based on this concept, we can calculate the rate of decay of the nuclei. The rate of decay of nuclei is directly proportional to the number of atoms present. Date means time rate we are talking about. So time rate of that nuclei, that is d by dt of n. So minus this, of course negative sign I will come to later. dn by dt is proportional to n. Here we are writing minus. What is this minus symbol indicates? Basically, the minus symbol helps us to understand that with the increase of the decay, the value of n decreases. That is, from the graph if you see, try to recollect from this graph, with the disintegration of the parent nuclei, the daughter nuclei are increasing in the opposite order. That means the parent nuclei is decreasing, the daughter nuclei is increasing in the opposite direction. That's why we get minus side here in the equation shown here. Now we can rewrite this equation for a mathematical convenience as, by eliminating the proportionality here, therefore we put a constant. That our constant ultimately becomes the decay constant lambda. So this equation, by eliminating this proportionality, we'll put a constant and rewrite as dn by n is equal to minus lambda dt. So dn by dt equal to minus dn by dt equal to lambda t. So you can rewrite as dn by dt, dn by n is equal to minus lambda dt is the rewrote equation here. Now we will try to eliminate this by using integration. So by integrating this entire equation on both sides, we can write as integral dn by n equal to the constant we can bring out of the integral operator. So integral dn by n equal to minus lambda into integral dt. Now integral dn by dn is nothing but, you can apply this equation like this. Here lambda is the decay constant. So we can write this as log n to the base e is equal to minus lambda into integral dt is nothing but t. So therefore log n to the base e equal to minus lambda t plus a constant k. Based on this equation, at t equal to 0, then n will become n naught. That is the initial number of nuclei present. So substituting this here in this equation, then this will become what? Naturally it will become log n naught to the base e equal to constant. Because t equal to 0 means this will go. So you will be, for n you will have n naught. Therefore log n naught to the base e will become k. Okay. Now you can write this as k value which you got as log n naught plus e. Substitute this k value. K we got as now log n naught to the base e. Substitute this k in this equation. So putting this k value as log n naught to the base e in the equation log n to the base e equal to minus lambda dt plus k, what we will get? Log n to the base e is equal to minus lambda t plus, what is k? Log n naught plus e. Okay. Now you just push this second term on the right hand side to the left side, because this is log n to the base e, this is log n naught to the base e. So therefore you can write like this: log n to the base e minus log n naught to the base e will be equal to minus lambda t. Got it? Now this is something like log m minus log n is nothing but mn, no? Log n minus log m by n, like that. So this is log n to the base e minus log n naught to the base e, nothing but n by n naught only. So therefore this will become, it looks like log m minus log n to the same base, therefore it becomes m by n, like that. log n to the base e minus log n naught to the base e will become n by n naught to the base e. Therefore, you cross multiply that, then it will become e power minus lambda t. So, this logarithmic expression gives the value n by n naught is equal to e power minus lambda t. Now, you cross multiply, you will get that law. N is equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t. This is how you will get this expression. This is what is known as, this equation is what is known as Rutherford-Soddy equation. Rutherford-Soddy equation, and it indicates that the number of nuclei present in the sample decreases exponentially with time. Now we can observe from the decay curve what we have seen earlier. The curve we have seen or shown earlier shows that this we can show in the curve as this curve, decay curve. The amount of daughter nuclei increases in the sample as the parent nuclei decreases. The amount of daughter nuclei increases in the sample as the parent nuclei decays. So this is how we get Rutherford-Soddy equation. To quickly recap, it always indicates that the number of nuclei present in the sample decreases exponentially with the time. That's what we have seen in the curve. So the amount of daughter nuclei increases in the sample as the parent nuclei decreases. Let us understand now what the concept of half-life period and also the decay constant lambda. How do we get values for them? If you look at the definition of half-life period represented as T half, it is the time in which half of the original nuclei decays into daughter nuclei. Half-life period is nothing but the time in which half of the original nuclei decays into daughter nuclei. It is denoted by T half. So we have already seen, that means the number of nuclei, original number of nuclei is nothing but n0. Half of it means it becomes n0 by 2. That is the number of nuclei left after the decay. But just now we have seen that n equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t. Here t becomes t half. Got it? Earlier, we just seen the Rutherford-Soddy equation where n is equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t. Here now t is becoming t half. That means the number of nuclei will become half. Therefore, n naught will become n naught by 2. So, the remaining of number of nuclei left over is nothing but n. Therefore, how do we calculate? N equal to n naught by 2. But n equal to what? N naught into e power minus lambda t. That is n naught into e power minus lambda t power half. T by t1 by 1 by 2. That is nothing but half-life period. So, for small t, we will substitute capital T half. So, this is how we can equate these two. Now, from this, we can calculate 1 by 2 is equal to e power minus lambda t by lambda t half. 1 by 2 equal to e power minus lambda t half. Now, from this we can say e power lambda. This is minus lambda by 2. So, cross multiply. This becomes 1 by e power. Suppose if you take cross multiply this will become 1 by e power minus lambda t half. So, when 1 by e power minus lambda t half, when it comes to the numerator, it will become e power lambda t half is equal to 2. Therefore, lambda t half equal to, take the logarithm other side, log 2 to the base e. So, lambda t half equal to log 2 to the base e. So, from this if you simplify, t half will become 0.60, log to the base e is this one. T half equal to log 2 to the base e divided by lambda. Log 2 to the base e is 0.693 by lambda. So, therefore, half-life period can be found using the equation T half is equal to, or half-life time equal to 0.693 by lambda. Now, here the lambda is nothing but decay constant. It is also known as disintegration constant. So, this is how we can arrive at half-life period. Now, if you look at this equation, half-life period we got as 0.693 by lambda, where lambda is the decay or disintegration constant. If you look at this equation indicates that the nuclei with different disintegration or decay constant lambda, it will have different half-life periods. That means if whenever you change the lambda value, you will get a different half-life. That means it is indicating that nuclei with different disintegration constants will have different half-life periods. So ideally, every material should take infinite time to decay completely. Ideally, every material should take infinite time to decay completely. So the actual life of a nucleus can be from a negligibly small time to infinity. So therefore, you require another parameter to be calculated. That is what we call as, you require another parameter, what is known as average lifetime period. That is also required to calculate. Because according to this, whenever you change lambda value, you will have nuclei with different disintegration constants, that is lambda values. They will show different half-life periods. So the ideal thing is what? Every material should take infinite time to decay completely. That means actual life of a nucleus can be from a negligible small time to infinity. That means another parameter like average life period is also required to be used. For example, if you take free neutrons decay with a half-life of about 10.3 minutes. Now this 10.3 minutes, if you substitute, it corresponds to a decay constant of 0.067. Therefore, an average lifetime of nearly 14.8 minutes or 890 seconds. So how it will be affecting it? So to understand that, let us understand the average lifetime, or otherwise known as mean time. So this is how we can define that. The mean time or average life of a radioactive nucleus can be defined as the ratio of sum of lives of all the atoms and the total number of atoms. So it is a ratio between sum of lives of all the atoms, that is the total lifetime, divided by total number of atoms. To arrive at, let us consider like this. Let N0 here, N0 be the number of nuclei at t equal to 0, and let N be the number of nuclei present in a time t. To arrive at half-life period, to arrive at mean or average lifetime is represented as t suffix a. We define the mean or average life of a radioactive nucleus as the ratio of sum of lives of all the atoms and the total number of atoms. For that, we are considering the number of nuclei at t equal to 0 as n0, the number of nuclei present at a time t equal to n. Now, between the time intervals t and t plus dt, we are considering the number of atoms that can be disintegrated within this time interval as dn, and therefore the total number of dn atoms will be t into dn. The total number of life of dn atoms, total life of dn atoms will be t into dn. And here, because the life of total number n0 nuclei varies from 0 to infinity, so we can integrate this between the limits 0 to infinity. Because the life of total number of nuclei varies from 0 to infinity. The total number of nuclei available are n0 only. So therefore, by integrating this expression within the limits 0 to infinity, we get between 0 to infinity of t dn. That is the lifetime of a n number of nuclei. But we have seen the formula of mean or average lifetime t, average lifetime Ta, nothing but total lifetime by number of nuclei. So because Ta is equal to total lifetime by number of nuclei, then automatically this equation becomes Ta is equal to, what is the total lifetime? Integral 0 to infinity of t dn. What are the total number of nuclei available? n0. Therefore, Ta will become integral 0 to infinity Tdn divided by n naught. Now, this will be nothing but, here already we know n is equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t. This is the expression we got from Rutherford-Soddy equation. Now 1 by n naught we can calculate from this and substitute. Because we know the equation n equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t, then we can calculate this by integrating. Already we integrated, so differentiating we will have this. So by differentiating this equation, n equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t, you can write by differentiating dn by dt is equal to minus lambda n naught into e power minus lambda t. Right? Now you can cross multiply this. Then dn will become automatically, negative sign we have limited because negative sign has been ignored for mathematical convenience. So negative sign always shows that the decay of parental nuclei is opposite to that of daughter nuclei. So as the parent nuclei decreases, daughter nuclei increases. So ignoring the negative sign, by cross multiplying, dn will become lambda n naught e power minus lambda t dt. Got it? Now this value of dn, you substitute in the numerator of the right hand side of this equation of mean life. Here the mean life right hand side numerator indicates integral 0 to infinity of t dn. So for dn value, we substitute lambda n naught e power minus lambda t dt in this integral. Therefore, mean life equation is written as Ta is equal to integral 0 to infinity of t into dn lambda n naught e power minus lambda t dt divided by n naught. Understood? So in this equation, you can strike off n naught both the numerator as well as denominator. So by striking off this factor n naught and also bringing lambda outside the integral operator, we can simplify this equation as lambda Ta is equal to lambda into integral 0 to infinity of t into e power minus lambda d dt. N naught has gone. You can strike it off, take lambda outside, then this will become Ta equal to lambda into integral 0 to infinity of t into e power minus lambda t dt. Now in terms of this integral, you can write into a definite integral within the limits. So a into b like this. Therefore this will become this expression t into e power minus lambda by t, lambda t by minus lambda minus integral this one between the limits. Now when you simplify like a definite integral, its value comes to around, the first term will be like this only. Only thing is the second term will become integral e power minus lambda t dt minus 1 by lambda means again 1 by lambda will become, therefore it will become lambda square. So this will become e power minus lambda t by minus lambda square between the limits. So if you simplify within the limits, so it will become mean life or average life is nothing but 1 by lambda. Ta is equal to 1 by lambda. This is the relation that is relating lifetime Ta and the decay constant lambda. This is how we can get the expression for the mean or average lifetime of a nuclei. So if you summarize in this session, we tried to understand the radioactive half-life defined as the time for the half of the radioactive nuclei to undergo radioactive decay. And then from there, graphically, we tried to understand the exponential decay of radioactive nucleides with time. And then we tried to understand radioactive decay and growth, where we studied that the radioactive decay is a statistical process that depends on the instability of a particular radioisotope, but exact nucleus in any given sample is only completely unpredictable. From there, we come to understand the concept of decay law. Decay law expression we have seen as n equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t. Based on that, we tried to understand the concept of radioactive decay rates. From the decay rates, we were able to arrive at n equal to n naught into e power minus lambda t and come to know that equation as Rutherford-Soddy equation, and understood that Rutherford-Soddy equation always indicate that the number of nuclei present in the sample decreases exponentially with time, and we have seen the decay curve also. And from that we tried to get the expression for half-life period, that is T half, and decay constant lambda. The half-life time, that is T half, we found it as 0.693 by lambda, where lambda is the decay constant or disintegration constant, and tried to understood that the equation T half equal to 0.693 by lambda indicate that the nuclei with a different disintegration will have different half-life periods, and ideally every material should take infinite time to decay. Therefore, the actual life of a nucleus can be from negligibly small time to infinity. Therefore, we realized the need of another parameter known as average lifetime. From that, we tried to obtain the expression for the mean lifetime or average lifetime, represented as TA, defined as the ratio of sum of lives of all the atoms and the total number of atoms. From there, we arrived at the relation of the mean lifetime as TA equal to 1 by lambda, showing the relation between average lifetime TA and the decay constant lambda. This is what we have seen in this session now.